there is a need to ensure that PMAs are used by those who really need them and in a safe and responsible manner. This is what our regulations aim to achieve. First, the speed limit of all PMAs will be lowered from 10 to 6 kilometers per hour. We understand that many existing PMAs have a speed limit of 10 kilometers per hour. There is no need for existing users to stop using or replace their current devices. They just need to ride no faster than 6 kilometers an hour. When they next replace their PMA, the new device should have a speed limit of 6 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, there are various ways for users to gauge the speeds and ensure they are within the limits. They can use free mobile applications or get a speedometer for less than $10. More simply, if you find yourself riding faster than those walking around you, you are likely to be above the limit. Secondly, we will align PMA dimension restrictions on public paths with the rules in place on public transport. This follows the principle that PMAs are meant to replace walking and that they are welcome on public transport for longer commutes. However, given space constraints on buses and the maximum weight that can be supported by our bus ramps, these PMAs must be within stipulated dimensions. Going forward, PMAs used on public paths should not exceed a width of 70 cm, a length of 120 cm, a height of 150 cm, and a laden weight of 300 kg. These will allow users to seamlessly transit between public paths and public transport. We do know that a small proportion of users need larger PMAs due to their physical conditions. Enforcement officers will exercise discretion if they are used on public paths. However, due to physical limitations as mentioned above, these oversized devices will still not be allowed on public transport. It is important to make a distinction between two main types of PMAs, which are mobility scooters and motorized wheelchairs. Generally, we have received feedback about the misuse and abuse of mobility scooters. These are 3 or more wheeled devices steered by a handlebar at the front of the device. To address this, only users who are certified to have relevant medical or physical needs, such as walking difficulties, would be allowed to use mobility scooters. First, this regulation will only be applied to mobility scooter users, which means that those using motorized wheelchairs will not be affected. Second, we will also recognize existing forms of certification so that users need not obtain a separate one. For instance, PWDs and seniors with mobility scooters subsidized under the Assistive Technology Fund and Seniors Mobility and Enabling Fund will not be required to obtain additional certification. Third, we will work with relevant agencies to identify other forms of certification and keep the process for obtaining them simple. Lastly, let me emphasize that these regulations will only take effect after legislative amendments are made around 2025. We will provide a transition period to give users ample time to obtain certification.